hey, that Danielle that you keep being asked about, And he was like, yeah, she's right there in the front row. And he was like, no way. So after the cocktail set's over, he opens up the curtains. My band was gone. We left to go to the bar. So he was like, no, this is not happening. I'm finally meeting this girl. And so he went back to his cabin, got his ship's ID, ran off, and went running down the pier in his tux, screaming, Danielle, Danielle, Danielle. And so I turned around and I was just like, what, who the F are you? And so we're musicians now, and we only work maybe a couple hours a day, if that. And so I worked for the art auctioneer on the side to get some extra money. And as I learned more about that business, the guy had me run to his cabin to go grab something one day. And so when I went to go grab it, on his bed was his commission statement. And this guy made a lot of money. And as a musician, you don't make a lot of money. And so as soon as I saw that, I went to Flip, is my husband's name. I went to his cabin and I opened up the door and I said, you're becoming an art auctioneer. But leaning in towards joy, like my path as I connect the dots of my life, it's always been what brings me joy? What do I enjoy doing? What makes me happy? And as I followed that path, like fate has truly just happened. Like everything that was meant to happen, that was my way of bringing other people in to help. And then realizing that, you know what, these passive investors who want to be passive, a rental property isn't that passive, honestly. And so that discovery led us to, hey, all these private money lenders that have been working with us this whole entire time, they're getting sometimes bigger checks than we are. And they are the ones that are doing it passively.
Did you know there's a technology that's actually an app on your phone that uses sound waves to tell your brain what you want your brain to do? We had a young man that was on a guest on our podcast, the Mike Litton Experience, who had a traumatic brain injury. He was sleeping 3 hours a night. He's using New Calm now and he's sleeping more. Go to newcalm.com, Mike15 promo code. Newcalm.com, promo code Mike15 for an extra 15% off. Go today.
Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. Mike is passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
Dani Lynn Robison, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. I'm super excited for our time together. And like we talked about before we hit record, everybody has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. So with your permission, we're going to start with where you were born, go up to today, and then we want to talk about the amazing things you're doing to help people unlock their financial freedom. It's really timely, like we talked about before we hit record. It's really timely today because we're literally in the middle of the single greatest transfer of wealth in our nation's history. And the people who the wealth is being transferred to, these kids and grandkids, they want their money to work for them. And the fact that you're helping people figure out how to do that is flipping awesome, because it's exactly what they're looking for, right? At the perfect time that they're looking for it. So I'm super excited to have you here. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I am so thrilled to have this conversation with you.
So are you an Irish fan? Is that what this is?
No, it's actually Tony Robbins.
I
I
love
love,
Tony.
yeah, I love anything that is positive, that is going to make me a better person. And so somebody from Tony Robbins actually sent me this hat. It's actually one you can't get. I don't think in many places, because it says blessed right underneath the lid.
I love
And I
it.
just love it. So yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I need to get Tony on the podcast.
Yes, you
If
should.
you can help me with that, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
And if he's listening, come on, Tony, let's go. Right.
That's right.
So where were you born?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. Did you grow up there?
Yes, yeah, born and raised. When I graduated high school, I went to college in Florida, and
Oh,
that's where I am now. So that's where my journey in Florida began, and it's a bit of a crazy story that we can get into whenever you feel like.
well, I love crazy stories. If you don't mind, let's go through a couple of things before you get to the college part, before you end
Okay,
up in Florida.
sounds good.
So growing up in Phoenix, what was your favorite thing about growing up there?
Gosh, I'm going to say the church that I was raised in.
Okay.
It was a really, really large church. And uh, it really taught me about money. It taught me about giving back. And that's really the two things I'm about today. Like it's really just uh it's what inspired me to do what I'm doing today. It's why I think so big today. Because I saw things at a level that I don't think most people get to see, the suffering, the need for money, the lack of education and finances to be able to make money, to be able to do more and give back more. So I would say the community that I was raised in is probably my favorite part of being raised there.
So let me ask you this. So you said that, or indicated that the church, that being in the church or being active in the church taught you about money. Can you be more specific about how the church taught you about money?
Yeah, it wasn't teaching me about money specifically and about what I know now today. It was teaching me that there is I'm not sure I'm gonna say this correctly,
It's
but I'm
okay.
gonna just speak my
You're
heart.
allowed. You're allowed.
Okay.
Just stumble. We stumble and bumble all the time
Okay.
here. We're good.
Okay, a little bit of a fear of money, a taboo of money, it's not okay to chase money. Money is the root of all evil. And I'm not saying that that's the message of the church. I'm saying it's the mindset of a lot of the people that I was around when being raised in church.
Mhm.
But yet, this desire to like give back to the world, give back to communities, do things for other people, but they didn't have the finances to do it. And
Yeah.
so I started like I naturally have always felt like this abundant attitude, like money's everywhere. Like why do people think it's actually that hard to make? Because I don't believe that inherently. And so I naturally gravitated towards people in the church that had money, because for whatever reason it was a big deal to me, because I saw my family who was poor trying to give back all the time. And they were my dad was a pastor of the children's choir, so we had these buses and we'd go into the poor neighborhoods, we'd pick up kids, take them to church. And I
Mhm.
saw that give back attitude, and I was like, it really sucks that we don't have enough money like to be able to do more.
Mhm.
And so I would gravitate towards the people in church who had the money, and I was just like, let me learn more from them, because it
Mhm.
can't be that hard.
Right.
And so that's really my life just kind of went on this path of, I want to do good. I believe in that part of the church, because I'm not very much a religious person.
Mhm.
I believe there's pieces and truth in so many things in life,
Mhm.
that I just don't narrowly believe in one thing and shut out all other things. So I believed in doing good, and I believed that you can do more good if you have more money.
Mhm.
And so that's really what I gravitated towards throughout my entire upbringing. And I feel like maybe I made a mistake shutting my family out, because I was like, you're poor, you don't know what you're doing. I love
Mhm.
you for doing good, but let me go be a part of these families and these things, because I want to learn how to be successful and how to make money so I can do more of the things that you guys are saying is valuable, which is the doing good.
So, do you mind if we talk about this money is the root of all evil thing? Because I hear it
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
And what's interesting is, and again, I'm not a theologian. I am not an expert in the Bible. I there are probably three whole verses I can tell you from the Bible. That's right.
Right.
That I memorized, right? I don't even know what verses they are. I just know the saint, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I've sort of learned over time, and it's more anecdotally, but what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I've absorbed over time is it's not that money is the root of all evil, it's the worship of money that's the
Mm.
root of all evil, right? In terms of you're worshiping money versus worshiping who you should be worshiping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money's a
Mm-hmm.
tool, and
Yes.
churches, let's be honest, are a business.
Yes.
Okay.
Truth.
And nobody
Yes.
likes it when we talk about this. I mean,
Yes.
and I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, everybody is a business. John Maxwell is pretty famous for being a pastor out here at Skyline Church in Rancho San Diego area of San Diego. And one of the things that sort of turned everything for him was he started looking at the church not so much in terms of a corporation, but he started looking at it in terms of a collective,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
And started looking at it in terms of if we start treating this like a business it'll start functioning like a business. And they're in the business of helping. I mean, they're in the business of,
Yeah.
sharing God's word and in the business of making this world a better place. And it's exactly what they did. But one
Yeah.
of the things that he identified sort of early on was the more that resources they have and the better they manage those resources, the more work they can get done and get done more efficiently, right? In other words, they can serve the purpose that they have and the mission that they have for why the church exists in the first place. And the church
Yes.
exists so that people can come and worship and if they're hungry, they eat, they're fed. If they, it's one of those things where it's a place of support and it's
Mhm.
a place to help. The thing is, it's also something where they have to keep an eye on the bottom line. And years ago,
100%.
I was active in our church, very active in our church I was baptized in. And I was not on the board of elders. I was not in leadership or any of that kind of thing. And our churches merged, and these two churches, our church and another church, merged, and it became this sort of power struggle thing, right?
Mm.
Most of it had to do with money, unfortunately, right?
Mm. Mhm.
The part of the reason they merged was because of money. Okay. What's interesting though is Pastor, who is still one of my best friends in the world, these elders would come to him and say, "Hey, we're having a tough time with this other elder board that's coming in."
Mhm.
And he would say to them, "I can't be involved. I'm the pastor of this combined church. I can't be involved. However, you can go talk to Mike, but you need to be prepared if you go talk to him that it's going to sting because he's going to tell you the unvarnished truth."
Mm.
Okay. And
Mhm.
every single one of them to a person called him back after meeting with me and said, "You're
Yeah.
right, it stung."
Wow.
But here's the thing, the truth is the truth is the truth, right?
Yes.
And ultimately, what this whole thing with these two elder boards came down to was egos, but it came down to, "I've been here for such and such an amount of time and I deserve more respect." Okay,
Mm.
go earn it.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
go prove to people that you deserve that kind of respect. And by the
Mhm.
way, you're a leader. And what happened to the servant leadership thing? How many pairs of feet have you washed today?
Yeah. Mm.
Right?
It's
I mean, come
powerful.
on, man, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and it's I'm not being flippant here.
Yeah.
I'm literally talking about how these churches work. And the
Mhm.
fact that you were a part of this church and active in the church, and it gave you sort of exposure to an extent to the way other people look at money.
Mhm.
It's a real credit to you. And I know you're saying, that you sort of excluded your family, but it sounds like to me that didn't happen. It sounds like to me what happened was you gravitated towards these other families
Mhm.
and basically went there as a sponge to learn. And that's exactly what we're supposed to do. We're
Yes.
supposed to learn from others. We're
Mhm.
supposed to pay attention. We're
Mhm.
supposed, yep, right? I mean,
Yes,
right? And we're
100%.
supposed to build a life that gives back and adds value. That's
Mhm.
what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
And I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert on the Bible or any of that, but the stuff that I have read and the things that I have studied have taught me that.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that Tony talks about is if you're not getting where you want to be in life, get yourself around other people that are like where you want to be, right?
Yes.
Or they're
Yes.
where you want to be, right? And go learn, right?
Yes.
And there are a lot of people out there that are unbelievably successful. We talk about this a lot on this podcast. There are people out there that are unbelievably successful that will mentor you
Mhm.
if you come to them the right way. I had one of the top real estate investors in the world basically on my podcast. And I asked him point blank. I said, if somebody wants to learn how to do what you do, could they come to work for you? Could they come to you and approach you and come to? He said, absolutely. He goes, I'll tell you what they could do. They could come to me and offer to go to my sites, to my projects, because he has several going at a given
Mm.
time.
Yep.
and just check in every single day. Take photos, report in, let me know what's going
Hmm.
on. Do it for
Hmm.
free.
Hmm.
Do it for
That's
free.
right.
And then the things they will learn will be absolutely priceless.
Yes.
That's the kind of stuff that you were doing. You with me? And so
Yes.
that's why I want you to know, and I want to acknowledge you for this. I admire you. I admire what you've done in your life. It's impressive. And the value that you're giving out there in terms of your servant leadership, I believe is invaluable. So I just think that's the coolest thing. I really do. So growing up, who was the most influential person to you?
Um, I'm gonna say it was the music minister at the church I was at, because he was well off, is how I would put it, because that's how I viewed it when I was younger.
Mhm.
He had money. He was also I was a musician myself. So I went and worked there for free as an intern to learn and to be around people who had money and understand that better, understand church better, like just understand everything, life better. And he really made the biggest impact in my life.
That's awesome. Did you know my uncle is a music minister to this day?
Really?
He
That's
really is. And
awesome.
he's in
I love it.
Florida. He's in Pensacola.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Ken. Shout out to Uncle Ken.
What's up, Ken?
It's what's up? What's up, Uncle? So in high school, did you have a favorite subject?
It was music. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always loved I played trumpet, and I just really, really loved music at an early age. Beyond that, probably math, if I'm gonna go to a school subject.
Yeah.
I love math, and maybe because it had to do with money.
Is trumpet as hard to play as it looks like?
Um, I don't think it's hard at all, and when I was given a picture of instruments to choose from, I
Mhm.
chose trumpet because it had 3 keys. I was like,
Oh,
"This can't be hard at all."
I love that.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, baby, right?
Yeah, that's right. Simple is one of my favorite words.
Did you have a favorite teacher in high school?
In high school, my music teacher.
Yeah.
Everything for me revolved around music.
Yeah.
It was just the people that I gravitated towards. It was him.
So you graduate from high school in Phoenix, and you
Mhm.
leave and go to Florida to go to college. Can you
Yes.
talk about that for a second? Because you went clear across the continental United States.
Yes.
Okay. You're
Mhm.
17, 18 years old. This is a
Yep.
big move.
Yes.
Why so far away? And where did you go to school and why?
Yeah, so I went to Southeastern University. I almost forgot it. It's in Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah.
And the reason I went is because my family was poor.
Yeah.
And so nobody had gone to college. Nobody had done, they always, went straight to work right out of high school. And so because I played the trumpet and played it well, there's these things in churches, and I don't even think it's specific to religion, but it's called the fine arts something. And I played in it every year, and I won every year.
Wow.
And so somebody from the college saw me in that, and they gave me a scholarship, full scholarship for
Wow.
the school in Florida. So that's why I went to Florida, because they paid me essentially to go to Florida, and I had a love for music. I didn't know if it was going to be my forever thing. I think I thought it was. There's this gentleman, Phil Driscoll, that goes to churches and he plays trumpet, and I thought I'm going to be just like him, and I'm going to play trumpet in churches across, everywhere, and make my own albums. I think that's what I was aspiring to be, and also the music minister route, because going to a Bible college was going to allow me to have the skills to be a music minister if I wanted to take that avenue at churches. So that's why that college, that's why that's there in Florida, and that's what I was pursuing at the time.
So what was the culture shock like coming from Phoenix to Lakeland, Florida?
Wow. Really, really big. I don't think that it was still church community to church community, because
Mhm.
in both places my life was just I was in the center of people that love God, and are people in church.
Yeah.
I think the change is something I didn't notice. I would say I noticed the differences between Arizona and Florida now as an adult way more than I did when I was in college.
Mhm.
I think it was just community to community and just different people. I don't think that I would have said there was any characteristic difference. But I will say this: when I was growing up, I trusted and believed in the people of the church
Mhm.
so much because you're so fragile and you just
Mhm.
trust everything coming at you when you're growing up. When I went to Bible college, that was the one place where I went, hey, not everybody lives the way they say they live. Like,
Mhm.
or what comes out of their mouth is not really reflected in what they do every single day
Mhm.
or behind closed doors. And Bible college is what taught me or first showed me that what people say isn't, don't take it at face value. Actually, dig in a little bit more to who they are to see if their character is truly what they're presenting in your conversations.
Like trust but verify.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right.
So what did you major in college?
Music performance.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. I like I said, I wanted to play. I think I really wanted to play. And I thought maybe music minister, which is what I ended up doing
Mhm.
for a little bit. But I really love playing trumpet.
So how did you feel when you finished and you were graduating?
Um, Accomplished, of course. Like, I did it and I felt good because it was a new thing for my family. So there's some pride there.
Mhm.
Um, there's also, hey, now life gets to start and I get to
Right.
do something that is going to make me more money because I got this degree. I really felt
Mhm.
investing in, that experience was going to allow me to do bigger things in life.
Right.
So I think there was just a sense of accomplishment and pride, and also just lots of learning lessons that what helped me, I think, enter life a little bit smoother than maybe if I would have just jumped in right after high school.
What's the number one most important thing you learned attending Southeastern?
This is gonna sound horrible, but it's the
It's okay. We're about the
it's
truth here. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's
We
really
might offend a few people. It's all right.
it's really that gosh, I think that's where I lost some faith in church and people. Like that's what I took away from Southeastern, and it's not Southeastern's fault. But there was a situation, and this can be a weird story, but
Okay.
there was a situation that one of our professors got involved in something that should have been forgiven. Like I feel like at the core of no matter what religion that you were raised in or you believe in, I feel at the core of it, it's love, right?
Mhm.
It just all comes down to love. And there's forgiveness too, right? And that is a part of love. Well, one of the professors that was a music professor at the college, like he was amazing. I really adored him. He did something wrong, what would be considered a sin, and instead of showing love, it was more hate. And it was hate from people who were not perfect themselves, right?
Mhm.
Like they had their own behind closed doors that most of us knew about,
Mhm.
sins as you would call it in
So they
church.
weren't living in
And
glass houses?
no, no, no. And so I think that's what I took away is I took away that, people are they're humans
Mhm.
and don't think that anybody's perfect because nobody's perfect.
Mhm.
And if they tell you they're perfect, it's probably a sign to run.
Mhm.
And so I think college really taught me um, be around people who are authentic and real, people who admit mistakes, and who aren't afraid to talk about bad crap.
So isn't the Bible all about a series of mistakes that were forgiven?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. 100%.
I'm just asking.
Yeah. 100%. Yes.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Nor am I. Like, I read the Bible in full as a part of missionettes when I was a kid, but I can honestly say I have not done that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, my college takeaway is just get around real people
Yeah.
who are good and just not afraid to be who they are.
It sounds like this was a disappointing thing, but you took a healthy approach to it. And it's sort of a running theme in your life, right?
Yes.
You've had all kinds of things in your life that maybe were disappointing, but you figured out a positive way to adjust and a positive way to deal with it. And it's
Yes.
really, I think, a thread in the entire story of your life. Especially the things that I've read and researched on you. So after college, where do you go?
So I started off as a music minister in a church, and eventually just it wasn't a good fit for me. There was a mistake made on my part, and because of that mistake I left the church.
Mhm,
And that's actually where I stopped attending church, because
mhm.
again I was just continued to be introduced to, what did I used to say, there's a word for it, but it's just people who, hide, and they say that they put up a front.
Mhm.
But there's a actual word, a religious word that you would call these people. But um I just stopped believing, not necessarily in God, but in people, and
Mhm.
of church people specifically. So after being a music minister, I had been playing trumpet at Disney while I was in college.
Oh,
And through those connections, I was done being a music minister at this church. And my connections are like, hey, you want to play in cruise ships? So I ended up taking a cruise ship job and playing in the big band, playing
wow.
trumpet. So yeah, that was my immediate path after college.
So how was that experience?
I loved it. It's college on water. That's what we say. Because on cruise ships, the people that are working there, they're young, they're having fun, and they're
Mhm.
partying. And it's crazy. So there's not a whole lot of rules except for survival. Know how to get in the lifeboats. Know how to take care
Mhm.
of the passengers. And as musicians, we didn't have to work a whole lot. So it was just a really fun and more secular experience. Like at that point in time, obviously didn't have church on the boat.
Mhm.
So I really decided to participate in life in a different way. Not that I don't believe in God. It's just
Mhm.
I'm not now surrounded by a bunch of Christian people who say one thing and do another.
Right.
So I got to see a different side of life when I
Yeah,
was on
that gets
cruise
a little
ships.
old after a while.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about how specifically how you are helping people to unleash and to make their money work for them. We'll be right back. Did you know there's an app that has no side effects that allows you to use sound waves to tell your brain what you want it to do? It's called newcalm.com and it's amazing. It literally uses sound waves. If you want to tell your brain to go to sleep, if you want to tell your brain to recover, if you want to tell your brain to put you in peak physical state, if you want to tell your brain to focus, if you want to tell your brain to take a power nap, you can do all of these things and more with newcalm.com. Go to newcalm.com today, promo code Mike15. Newcalm.com, promo code Mike15 for an extra 15% off. Go there today. And we're back with Dani Lynn Robison, and we're talking about your time on the Disney cruise. You mind if I share a little story with you?
Yes, please do.
So we took our kids on a Disney cruise out of San Pedro, California, the LA harbor. And when we got there, they gave us as parents a pager. And the lady, the young girl that was working for Disney at the time was going to show me how to operate the pager. And my wife looked at her and she said, he knows he knows all about pagers. That's the last model he had before he stopped using pagers, right? And she said, so this is what happens. If there's anything happening with the kids, we're going to page you and we're going to let you know where we are and which kid, because we had two, which kid is requesting your presence, right?
Mhm.
So we go and we take the kids up to the Oceaneering Club, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and
Mhm.
we drop them off and we have a secret password and all that kind of stuff, right? And so we come back. I come back down after dropping them off. I go to the cabin, change clothes, put my swim trunks on. We're headed down to the pool. All the other adults are down there. It's a whole group of us on the deal. And so I get down there and I get my towel out on the chase lounge, and I'm just getting ready to sit down, and the pager goes off, and it says that Madison requests my presence at the Oceaneering Club. Well, naturally, my heart sinks because I'm thinking she fell and hurt herself, or something's going on, right? So I go rushing up there, and they go and get her, and I give them the secret password and all that, and here she comes. Now she's 4, 5, right?
Okay.
And they bring her out, and I'm standing at the front desk. They bring her out, and I'm like, "What's going on, boo boo?" Right? And she just goes like this.
Oh.
She wanted to know that if she requested daddy, that daddy would be there.
Mm, that's powerful.
She never did it again the entire week, but it was a test,
Yes.
one that apparently I passed, right?
Yes, good job.
And it was one of the coolest things ever. The kids had so much fun. They got to go hang out with Buzz Lightyear, and they got to go hang out with Woody, and they got to go hang out with Pluto and Goofy, and right. I mean, they got to go hang out with all these characters, right? Lilo and Stitch, right? I mean, okay, and that was a
Yes.
big deal for them when they were that age. You know, this was back when Madison had to have a princess dress on everywhere she went. A Disney princess dress, you know, it didn't
Yes,
matter
yes.
which princess, right?
Right.
Aladdin, you know, or not Aladdin, but the Jasmine from Aladdin, right? Anyway, it just was one of those. It was one of those things, and it was just the coolest experience. It really was. And one of the coolest things about the experience were the people that worked for Disney that were on the cruise that worked with us, that helped us. It was really just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And one of the coolest experiences, one of the coolest vacations we've ever had. The kids are 25 and 26 now, and they still talk about it.
Yeah,
You know,
I bet they do.
they do. So it's really cool. So how long were you on the Disney cruise or work for Disney on the cruise ship?
So actually, Disney and cruise ships were two separate experiences. I worked for Disney at college, Magic Kingdom,
Right.
for the during the holidays. We played music there in Magic Kingdom. But then when I went on cruise ships, it was actually other cruise ships, cruise lines. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, yeah, all of the lines. That was a two-parter. We were musicians first, and when I say we, it's because I met my husband on cruise ships. Musicians first, and then we were art auctioneers.
Oh,
So in total, our life on cruise ships was 10 years.
wow.
Yes.
So what's the single most important thing you learned in those 10 years on those cruise ships?
Hmm. That you don't have to pay taxes if you're out of the United States for all but 5 weeks of the year. It's the first thing that came to mind. But let me put a little bit more thought into it. Um, honestly, like I'm just like, okay, he's giving me questions. What's the first thing? And so
You're
that was
really
the
a
first
money
thing.
manager at heart.
That's so funny.
It's like, what's the single most important thing you learned in 10 years? Taxes.
Yes. It's so crazy. I'm gonna tell you if I'm gonna look reflectively back where I am now to back then,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say that to lean in towards joy.
Yeah.
It's a lesson that I've learned throughout life that when you connect the dots of your life, you start learning something.
Yeah.
And it's really where I've learned about giving back, where I've learned about
Mhm.
money, and those two things being the two most important things to me.
Yeah.
And you can see automatically I'm always thinking money, and like
Mhm.
even answering questions about my past. Like
Mhm.
it just happens to be related to money so many times. But leaning in towards joy, like my path as I connect the dots of my life, it's always been what brings me joy, what do I enjoy doing,
Mhm.
what makes me happy, and as I've followed that path, like fate has truly just happened.
Mhm.
Like everything that was meant to happen, I believe in my life. There's so many things I'm a part of right now that if I hadn't have done X way back here, I
Mhm.
never would have landed in this place.
Mhm.
So I think if I look back reflectively, it was being on ships. I was just doing what I really, really loved and enjoyed at that time in my life.
It's exactly why we do this podcast. You
Love that.
just literally laid out our mission and exactly why we do it. Because everybody has a story and our passion is to help them tell it, right? And we
Hmm.
want to share with the world your life story. And in
Hmm.
this case, we're in 66 countries, right? At the time of this taping. We just added 2 like in the last 2 weeks. It's crazy.
Nice.
No, it's nuts. So it's neat though. It's, you know, it's exciting. It's just, wow, really? You know? So 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 after the cruise ship career, the 10 years,
Mhm.
number 1, why do you leave the cruise ship business? And number 2, where do you go?
Yeah, so we left cruise ships because I was tired of being on cruise ships. No, really, It was part that we also got promoted. So we were musicians, and
Mhm.
that's when I said, like, the part of the life story was me going to college in Florida. My now husband also went to college in Florida,
Oh,
and then me playing at Disney in that band. My husband played Disney in that band,
oh
and then me
wow.
going to cruise ships. He went into cruise ships, and quite literally, he was about 6 months to 12 months behind me at
Hmm.
all times. When
Wow.
I got off my first cruise ship, he was getting on his first. I was like on deck 3 and he was on deck 1, and we were literally, and we hadn't met yet. Like, and everywhere he went, he was like asked, "Hey, do you know Danielle?" And that's my full name. And
Mhm.
he was like, "No, I don't, Danielle." And like he was like, "This is crazy. Why do I keep being asked about this Danielle girl?"
Mhm.
And it was a hurricane happened, and the cruise ships all went to the Bahamas.
Mhm.
And so his ship and my ship landed in the Bahamas. His band had to play. He was also a trumpet player.
Mhm.
His band had to play a cocktail set. So my whole entire band went to his ship to be able to watch their cocktail set.
Mhm.
And during that cocktail set, one of the guys next to him said, "Hey, you know that Danielle that you keep being asked about, you know?" And he was like, "Yeah, she's right there in the front row." And he was like, "No way." So after the cocktail set's over, he opens up the curtains. My band was gone. We left to go to the bar. So he was like, "No, this is not happening. I'm finally meeting this girl." And so he went back to his cabin, got his ship's ID, ran off, and running down the pier in his tux, screaming, "Danielle, Danielle, Danielle." And so I turned around and I was just like, you know, what, who the F are you?
Right. Right. Who's this crazy
um,
man yelling my name down the
yeah,
pier?
yeah. So that's literally how we met. And so it was a crazy story. Our bands all got together at the bar that night. And then the next ship I was on, it was him requesting me to be on that ship. And that was the cruise ship Destiny. So like that whole story, like those are the things that have happened in my life, and I'm just like, this, like there's a reason why I'm where I'm at, and that why I do believe in following in my heart and joy and what makes me happy, because look where I am today. And I could say that now about partnerships and things like that. But to go back to the cruise ship, that first portion was as musicians. And so we're musicians now, and we only work maybe a couple hours a day, if that. And so I worked for the art auctioneer on the side to get some extra money.
Mhm.
And as I learned more about that business, the guy had me run to his cabin to go grab something one day. And so when I went to go grab it, on his bed was his commission statement. And this guy made a lot of money.
Mhm.
And as a musician, you don't make a lot of money. And so as soon as I saw that, I went to Flip, is my husband's name. I went to his cabin and I opened up the door and I said, "You're becoming an art auctioneer,"
Mhm.
because I was just like, this is our next path. This is where we're going to go. And so we did. So on cruise ships, we transitioned from musicians to art auctioneers, and we did that for a few years. And so we were promoted to the land division, and that's how we got off cruise ships. And we were starting to travel around the United States and big cities and putting on VIP art auctions. And so that's why we got off cruise ships, and ultimately why I said it was travel as to
Mhm.
why. It was because even traveling across the United States and doing these art auctions, it was still a lot of movement. And at that point in my life, I was ready to settle.
Yeah.
Yes. So I told him, I said, "You keep on doing these art auctions. I'm going to get off. I'm going to go find a new career. I'm going to go find our new path." And I chose 3 different ideas of what I wanted to do: financial services, the mortgage industry, real estate. I ended up landing in mergers and acquisitions in that realm. But when I landed on real estate, that's where joy hit me. Like financial services was great, but there was something missing there. And of course,
Mhm.
money, right? Mortgage, great. Something that I liked it worse than financial services. Mergers and acquisitions was fun, but I didn't like cold calling. And that's what I was doing when I was starting that path. Real
Mhm.
estate, oh, it was everything. Like as soon as I started doing that, I was like, this is it. I don't know what it is and what I'm going to be doing, but it's going to be in real estate.
Mhm. So you get started in real estate. At some point, you start helping people unleash their finances and create financial freedom. Can you talk about that for a second? What made that happen?
Yeah. So it was in 2008 when we got into real estate. And so as a result
Perfect
of
timing,
that,
by the way.
Yeah, perfect timing. Exactly right. As a result of us being in real estate at that point in time, I ended up getting a mentor where we learned 12 different ways to buy and sell real estate.
Mhm,
And so I explored things there. And part of this money and giving back,
mhm,
the giving back piece was I always want to go big. Everything that I do, I just think really, really big. And I thought, hey, what if I take other people on this ride with me and we learn together, we do together, and we grow faster together. And so it was really that launched the real estate career. We ended up partnering with attorney. We started doing deals on a nationwide level, doing subject to wraparounds, whatever the market was telling us was the right strategy for that particular time. And then as I started getting to the point where we were doing a lot of flips, we were doing turnkey rentals where we go and find the property, rehab the property manage the property, and then sell it to somebody who wants cash flow.
mhm,
That was my way of bringing other people in to help. And then realizing that, you know what, these passive investors who want to be passive, a rental property isn't that passive,
mhm,
honestly. And so that discovery led us to, hey, all these private money lenders that have been working with us this whole entire time, they're getting sometimes bigger checks than we are.
mhm,
And they are the ones that are doing it passively. So I took that lesson and I went, hey, um, one of my investors came to me and says, Danny, I love what you're doing. I'm a doctor. I don't have time to go in and out of these deals like you want. So he said, is there something that we can do? We talked to my attorney. My attorney says, hey, you can develop a master note. See if he's okay with that. We're going to put his money into a bank account, and it's going to be a bank account. He's going to allow you to use it for both real estate and operations of building your businesses.
mhm,
So I asked him about that. I said, the only way I can keep your money is if I can use it for other things. Because if you give me $500,000 and I can only use 300,000, I don't want to be paying interest on $200,000 and I'm not using. And so he was like, okay, yeah, that's no problem. I found you on Forbes. I've been watching you for years, and now I'm finally in your office. Yes, I will do this with you. And so I was like, great. So he actually started with, I think, 50,000, and then he left the office giving us $100,000. And then within a month, he had sent us a check for $400,000. And like, he's got millions with us now, right? And it was that process of earning trust, and just doing what you said you're going to do. Even
mhm,
if we lost money, we never ever allow our investors to lose money. It's just one
mhm,
of the things that I so strongly believe in, because I'm in business
mhm.
for the long term, not the short term.
Right.
And if you're going to trust me and it's my job to do the right thing in that property or whatever it is I said I was going to do, if I screwed up, you still get paid everything
Mhm,
owed. And so he loved that about me. And so he actually started talking to his friends. And so ultimately, we took the lesson from him and said, okay, here's somebody who doesn't want to go in and out of deals. And he's actually making more money because he's left it with us.
mhm,
And it's helping us too, because we're allowed to build
mhm,
faster because we've got this extra money to help us with operations and growth. And so we go to our private money lenders and we said, this is what we're doing with this person. We are going to now open this opportunity up for everybody else. Over 50%, just like that. We're just like, yes, please don't like have me going in and out of these deals all the time. Because when I have my money back with me, I'm not making that return. I've got to wait for you to go get another deal.
mhm.
It's still risk.
It's just sitting idle.
Yeah. And it was still secured by real estate. It was still secured by our business. It was a promissory note drafted by our attorney. And so that lesson was like, oh, people really want this. Okay,
Mhm,
great. Let me create a fund. And so we created a fund. And so that was like the path that I led. And it was really listening to our investors, right?
mhm,
What do they want, and how can we do that? And how can we serve them and still protect ourselves so that we're not paying on money that we're not using?
mhm.
And that's how really I was able to maximize the passive investing route, which I now truly believe in, because I really believe that we're all here for a purpose.
Mhm.
And our purpose is, we usually find it by leaning towards joy, because that's how I found mine, and I
Mhm.
believe that's how you find yours, by having these stories being told.
Mhm.
And if we can allow people to stop thinking about the stress of money, and if they can take that away, I bet that their life gets better and they're able to pursue their purpose and pursue or learn and find and think and contemplate about what it is that they are meant to do in this life.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's why I have such a passion for it. And that's how it all evolved.
So what does the fund do actively to generate a return?
Real estate.
Okay.
So
So
it's
what
really two.
specifically in real
Yeah.
estate do you do?
So we've evolved from single families. We used to do turnkey rentals, but
Mhm.
as we learned that passive investors, that's really not their jam. It's not really what they want. They want passive income, and they believed, and even I believed at some point in time, that rentals was the thing to do.
Mhm.
But it's another job, really.
Mhm.
You're still having to manage it. You're still having to make a lot of decisions, and so it was the passive route that took us into multifamily,
Okay.
because our very first multifamily property, I took private money lenders and they
Mhm.
flew out. We walked it together and they said, absolutely, we're on board with you, Dani. We've been doing this for a long time. We trust you. Do it. And so that first 56 unit apartment complex, we were able to, again, give our lenders the biggest returns that they've ever had, because it was a very, big deal.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, this is it. And so we now do, recession resistant needs based real estate. And what that essentially means is, in this particular, probably the next 12 to 18 months, there's a lot of situations with those bridge loans where they're coming due and
Mhm.
operators are not in the place in order to continue. So we are taking over the operations and buying those deals. And it's in multifamily, senior housing, self storage, and then we're doing some build to rent projects. We're actually working with operators now, and so that's what's backed by the fund. And then, of course, our businesses. We continue to build. We continue to grow.
So you're developing real estate too. You're going ground
Yeah.
up?
This is just now starting. So we strategically partner with operators who have been doing
Mhm.
it for a long time. I don't want to, as big as we've grown, I don't want to keep on learning
Right.
on my dime, really, because
Right.
I don't allow my investors to lose, but
Right.
I will lose as I
Right.
learn. And instead, I want to partner with the best in class operators that have been doing it for years, have already learned on their dime, and together we create that win, and we just leverage their experience in that field.
So your cap that you're wearing
Yes.
is inspired by Tony Robbins, and
Yes.
underneath the lid, it says blessed.
Yes.
Talk about that for a second.
Um, so I love Tony because I'm drawn to him because he's inspiring, and I'm drawn
Mhm.
to inspiring people. I'm
Mhm.
drawn to inspiring stories. I'm drawn to people who truly believe anything is possible.
Mhm.
Like, there are no rules. We can do whatever it is that our mind thinks up. And that's why I love people who pursue their purpose, because I believe we all have some type of genius or reason that we're here. And if you lean towards joy, you naturally lean towards the things you're great at, your
Mhm.
superpowers. And when you figure that out, then you become great and you provide value to the world and to your community and to your friends and to your family by something you actually love doing because you're great
Mhm.
at it. And so Tony Robbins happens to be one of those people that inspires the heck out of me, that believes anything is possible. And so I started listening to him, started learning from him, because I believe in coaches and mentors in everything that I do in life. And I love people with just this unlimited mindset. And the blessing part is just, I believe that, I believe in gratefulness. I believe in just always looking at, because life is tough. There's always going to be stuff happening that just sucks. And you got to get through it one step at a
Mhm.
time. And you surround yourself with people that are going to help you get out of those situations and learn from them and take those lessons and be better. And so it's a reminder, just to always remember to be grateful and that you are
Mhm.
blessed.
So, do you mind if I share something with you?
Yes, please.
Tony certified me in sales mastery 37 years ago,
Oh my goodness.
and I got to see him live a couple of years ago at a real estate event of all things in Grapevine, Texas, and his son was there, who
Hmm.
hadn't been born when I was certified in sales mastery, right? And so I said to him, I said, I haven't seen your dad live in 30 years. He goes, I think he'll be better this time.
Oh my gosh. We all get better with age, but
Oh,
Tony's been
he's a
great for a
kick.
really long time.
His son is a kick, man.
Yeah.
He's like Tony, but younger, right?
Yeah. Is
So
that
yeah,
Jared?
really cool.
I think I
Hmm?
saw Jared at one point in time. Was that
Yeah,
Jared?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
yeah.
fantastic.
He's a character.
Yeah.
So if somebody's listening to this and they want to make their money work for them, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our company is Freedom Family Investments. So you can go to our website. I always say chatwithfreedom.com because it's just easier to remember. But either Freedom Family Investments or chatwithfreedom.com. That's where you can go learn more about us. And We're on YouTube. You can just start Googling us from there, because we're about freedom, we're about family, and we're about helping people.
Awesome. Dani Lynn Robison, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved this conversation.
Can I ask you a question? Did you know that there's a technology that uses sound waves that'll tell your brain what to do? There literally is. It's called newcalm.com. It can tell your brain to heal, tell your brain to sleep, tell your brain to do all kinds of things. It can get you fired up. It can be a pre-workout. Newcalm.com. And the promo code is Mike15. Newcalm.com, promo code Mike15 for an extra 15% off. Go today.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at the Mike Litton Experience.